Good morning. My name is Amy Ralph, and the new Piedmont West Director. I am also a librarian for Lexington City Schools. This is my 8th year here in Lexington as a school librarian. I teach 1 through 5 an elementary school library here. Today I'm going to be presenting on newsletters and how to use those in your library and what to put in those. And we're also going to use the resource called Canva to make newsletters. Now, I have used Canva to make other things besides newsletters. I've used it to make little posters to put up on the bookshelves about special events and things going on in the library. I've used it for creating images for other presentations that I had for the district or for the school library here. So it can be used for a number of different things, but this year I've been mainly using it to do my newsletters. What is the point of doing a newsletter anyway? Why should you even take the time? And it does take a lot of time to do a newsletter, but why should you take the time to do that? Well, it will meet one of the accomplished areas in our standards for the state. So, standard 3 with the school library media coordinator implements a comprehensive 20th century library media program. In that standard, in element B, it says shares data about library accessibility with the school community. So, using a newsletter is a good alternative for sharing information because really, if you use your website, um, I don't feel like a lot of parents view my website. My students view my website because I give them some student resources on there that we use in class, but they're only going there to look up the specific resource. They're not really looking at my website and reading it. If you're sending a newsletter directly to parents through emails or Class Dojo, and you're sending a newsletter directly to teachers through email, and you're sending it to kids directly through email, then they're going to be able to see it. It's going to be a notification. It's going to come in through their inbox, and they'll be more likely to actually open it and look at it. Now, what are some things to put in your newsletter? That's the question. Um, I do a 4-page newsletter, and everybody's like, I know you're thinking maybe, wow, 4 pages. What do you put in 4 pages of a newsletter? The first page is my media news page. So on that, I put anything about any kind of contest we're having, any information we have about school book fairs. I always put the checkout number for the month before. If I'm doing the January newsletter, I will do the checkouts for the December checkouts for the kids. So I pull that from Destiny and put that on there. And I kind of describe what we're doing in media classes on there. So that's the first page. The second page, I gear towards the parents. So in that page, I tell the parents what we're learning in media. I tell them how they can help their child. Sometimes I'll talk about read alouds with their child, or I'll talk about math, helping them with math practice, or helping them with science by doing STEAM activities at home or labs at home. And so if I suggest a certain thing to the parent, then I provide them with resources that they can use to work with their kid. And then if we're having like a book fair, I'll give them parent specific information on that. Like I'll tell them things like, well, we're not having parents come into shop book fair because of COVID, but we are having the kids shop. So that way they can send their child money, or I talk to them about e-wallet and using that for sending money for their child. So parent specific news on their section, and then some resources to help them help their child at home. And then my third page is normally geared to the teachers. And for that, I pick a certain area um, of information to provide them some resources for. So my January newsletter, I send out some resources on Black History Month because I find that my teachers here like to do biographies during that month, and we don't necessarily have enough books for all of our school to do a biography on. So they will need to use some online resources too. So I gave them some resources to do that, to do some online resources, and to do some, I gave them some resources with some basic activities for Black History Month, some things that they can do for that. I also give them teacher specific news on that page. And the last page is the student page. And on the student page, I talk to them a lot about reading, why reading is important. I talk to them about book fair and about we're having like a contest for the most checkouts so they can win a free book. I also talk to them about what new books we have in the library. And with that, I just take we have Destiny to Discover here in my district. So I take the little picture of the book and I put it in Canva, and so they can see what the book looks like. So they know what to look for when they're looking for it in the library. So new books, if you don't have a budget and you're not getting new books, then you could do like librarian recommendations or teacher recommendations or student recommendations and put those in. Put those pictures in. You can get the pictures from Google also to put those pictures in for your newsletter so you have it. So those are kind of the basic things that I use it for. And so I send it out via email to my students and staff. And then we use Class Dojo in my district. So we have like the school story. So I'll put the newsletter out on the school story for the parents. So that way everyone has access to the newsletter. So you're covering all your school community members. Okay. So in the second part of this video, we're going to talk about Canva. I'm going to show you how to use it. We'll talk about the resource itself and how it's beneficial. For this part of the video, I'm going to show you how to get on Canva and use it to make a newsletter. So I'm going to present my screen so I can share that. Educator account. You just go to search Google for Canva educator account. And it'll let you sign up right here. You can sign up with Google. So like most of our districts are Google districts. So when you log in, you can just log in with your Google account and it'll go ahead and make you an educator account, which an educator, they have a free account and they have an educator account. The educator account gives you more access to the different items within Canva that are sometimes require pay. So you definitely want to get an educator account. I had a free account and then I switched it to an educator account. So that was, and all my stuff from my free account did transfer over to the educator account because I was able to log in with the same login because I logged in with Google. I already have a Canva account, so I'm just going to kind of show you guys what my account looks like. So when you get on, this is going to be the first thing you see. Now, I'm just going to scroll through this just a little bit. So it has all these different templates that you can try to use with uh, when you're trying to develop stuff for your library. Um, Lesson plans, resumes. They have Zoom backgrounds that you can make. My Mats flashcards, newsletter. That's the one I normally use. The presentation is the one I have my kids use. I have the students use this because they can sign into a student account with Google. So we've used this in the past to make books and stuff. Um, so this is also a good resource if you want your kids to do some web page design, because basically once they log in, they have to create everything from scratch unless you do a template. But if you do a template, you have to um, kind of delete stuff because it's going to put random stuff in. So I'm going to show you my January newsletter just so you can get like an overall look of what it looks like. Okay. So this is what, let me blow that up a little bit. This is what my January newsletter looks like. This is the page where I do the media center media news. So I talk about what projects we're doing, the book fair. We're doing a checkout contest right now, and then the December checkouts. And then I do the parent perspective. So here is the parent stuff. I talk about what we're learning in the book fair and this how you can help section. This is the section where I give parents a suggestion on what they can do to help their child with school. And so this one is talking about reading 30 minutes and reading with your child. The teacher one, open checkout times. That's always good to put when your checkout is available. There are my Black History Month resources. I have the Black History Month activities, and then I have resources specifically for biographies. And I also put a PD spotlight down here. So those are in-house PDs for us. But if there are some district PDs or DPI PDs or PTech PDs, I'll put those on there. Then here's my student page. This is where I talk to them about reading stamina, winning free books, and then these are some of the newer books that we have in the library. So this is kind of what mine looks like. Let's go back to the first page. So if you're going to start one, what I normally do when I'm doing mine is to just take this and make a copy of it. So what I do is I make a copy of that, and then I open it up and I just kind of edit it from here. Because some of the stuff is we're still doing it. So I just kind of edit it. But I want to show you guys what to do from scratch. So let's say that this is your first time ever doing anything and you want to do a newsletter. So here's the newsletter templates. Okay, so normally what it does here is it will pull up just a blank page and then it'll let you add a template over here. So let's just look at the school newsletter templates. So if I wanted to do this one, it automatically goes ahead and puts in your boxes and stuff, and then you just have to go in here and edit the text. And the best thing about this is you can edit the background. So if you don't like those particular colors for some reason, you can edit them to be your school colors. So my school colors are like this blue and then this orange. So if I want to, I could change the background to do the blue and orange. Okay. I'm going to throw some black dots in here too. Okay, so now I'm doing like the blue and orange colors. And then the text and stuff kind of works like a normal. If you're doing a template, you can just kind of add to this. So if I wanted to, you can also delete stuff out. So I don't particularly like these little ladies on the side. So you can just right click on them and tell it to delete, and it'll take that off. So I'm just going to delete those out because those are not great. I do not like this font color either, so I'm going to change it. And you notice over here on this side, it pulls up the recommended document cover colors, like what's already in the document when you have it, but it'll also pull up what you've recently used. So you can use the same color uh, template for that. So if I wanted this to be orange, then I can just pop that in there like that, make that orange. And then I don't want this to be that color, so I can make it blue. So this says this week in grade 2. So I could put here this week. Okay. This week in the media center. Now you can move these down just like you normally would. Like if you're creating a web design, you normally can move stuff down. So you can move this down. Then you can add to this. So you can delete this out and type whatever you need to. So this week we are learning. And I like, so if you are a person that has difficulty reading small print, then you can blow it up. The slider down here lets you increase the size of what you're doing, so you can blow it up. So I will put this in. This week we're learning about other countries by researching. This is actually what we're doing in my classes. Okay. So I don't want this little boy here. So what I can do is, so this is my upload folder, but let's say that I want to put a new picture in here. So to do that, I'm just going to go, like if I want to put some in Google, I'm going to go in and put. So let's say I want to put a map of Europe. That works. Map of Europe in. Okay, let's do this one. And you can decide where you want to put this. It'll pull up your documents and it'll pull up your download. So it'll pull up either one. I normally have a folder called images for newsletters, so I'm just going to put it in that. Okay. So let me go back to the one we were working on, which is right here. Okay, so let me take this out. So I don't want this. I want this map of Europe where he is. So you can upload a picture. So I'm going to do that. And I'm working on a map just so you guys know, I'm working on a MacBook. But this works. It's a web-based program, so it doesn't really matter. It will work. So all you have to do is so I'm taking that picture from there, and I'm going to drag it right here. Now, you do have to be careful. Did you see how it went right there? If I let it go, it's going to be my background for my whole newsletter. I don't want that. Okay. I'm going to switch my title. Now, if this is too big, you just highlight it and reduce the size like you normally would on any other tech thing. And if you don't like the font, they have all these different cool fonts on here that you can change up. And the educator account, pretty much freedom to pick whichever one that you want. The free account, you have limited access to fonts, and you also have limited access to some of the pictures and things, and we'll look at those too. So, um, so this is basically just changing uh, the text. So if you want a quick and easy newsletter, then you do this. Now I'm going to open my other one. So I'm going to open this one. So you kind of see what I do with my process here, which is a little bit more involved. So the first thing, since I made a copy of this, and I have to do my newsletter for February anyway, so this is fine. So I'm gonna show you how I would do this. Make a changes on here so I can show you like the other features. So right now I got a snow theme going on. So I want to change it. You can even change the colors on these little squares right here. Oh, and you can do this. Um, you can upload stuff, but these are like the kind of colors they have, which is usually what they have. Oh, and this is a new feature. So, do y'all see how I said change the red to this orange, and it says change all? You can do that. So now all of my little square dealies are orange instead of the red color that I had. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change these winter themes. Oh, this is cool. If you can do a live version of your newsletter, these are cool because look, so it'll snow. So if you have this like rolling on the screen, like if you have one of those TVs and you want to roll this on your screen, it'll snow for you. So that's cool. What I normally do is print it as a PDF, download it as a PDF. So it'll go to the teachers. If you do that, it won't do the play thing. I just like the background for it. So to get a new picture in, you go to elements and then you put, I'm gonna put Valentine's Day in. Right? So this is kind of all of the stuff the different stuff they have for Valentine's Day. And as y'all can see, like if it has, look, see this right here? If it has like a little 10 seconds or a seconds number, that's one that plays. So basically what I will do is I will pull this over here in that. Now, for this particular newsletter, I don't like the photo color, so I'm going to play with, there we go. I'm going to play around with my colors to make it look different for this. So I'm going to completely change this theme to a, and as y'all can see on the darker red, we can't see the font. So I normally go through and change it to white that way. Now I have to edit that. It says January right now. So let me blow that up so y'all can see. Okay, so that's going to say February 2022. Once you get this kind of how you want it, you can just play with it and change the way you do things. So highlight that, and I'm gonna change it to white. So that way you can see everything. All right, so there's my first page. And again, the cool thing about this is it keeps up with what you put. So that way you can just change everything to that same color. You don't have to try to remember. I like my colors to match for all my titles. So you don't have to try to remember um, what's what if you are if you if you have this because it already saves it. So that's one of my favorite features is that it kind of saves stuff. And then you can put so I'm just changing all my title colors right now. So that way they're all kind of similar. And then you can put all right, so then I'm going to search this back up so that way I have everything. So I try to put a little bit of something different for all my pages. See, this is going to be cute, but of course it's not going to play for me. See that? See how it plays? It's really cool. But I just kind of put things in um, that I kind of like. Had some really good ones for Valentine's Day. Okay, so now I see I've kind of covered all my things, and they'll play. They'll do the headings. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to switch my theme for my headings to red for this particular thing since we're doing, and I always leave this in black. Now, I know this looks really tiny like the 10.7, but let me show you what it looks like at 100%. So y'all are not like, oh, what? It's kind of small. So this is standard 100%. So I'm just going to delete that so I can show y'all how to put these headings in here and stuff. So let's pretend that this is what I have. I'm gonna delete this out so that way y'all can see what we have from scratch. Okay. So we're just gonna delete that out. There's my December checkouts that I told you I put in. All right, so let's pretend that all we have is this. And we got to put some fonts and stuff in. So if you want to, so here's kind of the text portion of the program. You can put in these things if you want to and kind of change the text. It'll let you. If you like this um, type thing and you want to put their word art in, you you can do that. I don't normally use the word art feature, but as you can see, they've got lots of different word art styles that you can use. But I'm gonna delete that on out because I don't use this. So just to get rid of stuff, you can back it out. Okay, or you can delete. So what I normally do for text is I'll put this stuff in. So I'll put in a heading and I'll type in it. Now, what you do want to do is once you figure out kind of what heading you want to use, I always try to keep the same font and the same size, font size when I'm doing stuff. So it's just kind of consistent because if you don't, it's kind of busy. So I just like this one, and then you can type in here whatever size you want it to be. So I'm gonna make it 16.3. So there, that's my standard font size for my thing, and then for this one, I'm gonna make a red. I also like this. Do y'all see how it's pulled out the photo colors? So these are all the colors that are originally in that picture. So I can use any of the colors in there to match this to that picture. So see how well that color matches? That color right there. So I put the heading in, and then I put, y'all see this right here where it says a little bit of body text? That's what I put in. And this, you just click and drag it over. And I normally just go ahead and get my boxes fixed. Now, this normally automatically defaults to center alignment up at the top. So if you don't want it center, you have to click this so it starts over there. Um, and again, I try to make my body text consistent. So for me, that's these settings. So whenever I'm putting new boxes in and stuff, or if I accidentally delete a box, I go ahead and make sure that I do the heading, do the setting that I already have. Just 10.3 for that. So then you would type in your information. Now, you can also, if you want to, add some like little extra stuff. So let's say I want these little hearts to be beside my media center news. You can do that. And you can make two. So if you just want to make another one, it'll put it right there, and then you just move it over. So I got my little heart friends around my media center news. And they have ones that move, like this little guy. He's kind of moving and pointing his finger at people. They have ones that move, which are really cool. And like this little friend here, you can put him in. I would not overdo it with the animations because you don't want, these can be a bit distracting. Um, if you're doing like a fun thing, where I would use the animation at is probably on my student page because it's a little fun thing for them. Um, the other pages are a little bit more all business. So I wouldn't overdo it on I would not overdo it on the animations when you're putting stuff in. And also obviously not lovey-dovey stuff like this because we we teach kids. So they're gonna be like, make noises and whatnot. Now I can also change the entire background on this to a Valentine's Day theme. So if I wanted to do that, I could do that. So it kind of puts that on the whole background of the thing. But I like to keep this part down here simple. All right. So let's say that you're going to use this. You're going to make another. You want to show like a graph to show increases in your circulation. Okay. You could actually put one of these in. And as you can see right there, it lets you edit it in here. So it pulls it up, and you can also add through a Google Sheets. So it goes ahead and pulls it up so you can edit this out. So I'm just going to make up some numbers here so you can kind of see how this works. I don't want that. So I'm going to get that. I'm going to get rid of that one. All you have to do is to get rid of stuff is just delete it. So let's see, 540. It's randomly coming up with something. 600, 800, and 1,000. It's random numbers. So if y'all can see, let me pull that down so y'all can see it well. Now I have this graph. And I can put that on there and show, well, these are my circulation data. So it kind of looks like the charts that we have in Destiny when we're logging in as administrators. We can look at charts like this. So if you wanted to add a chart on there to show your stakeholders what your circulations look like for the month, this would be good like in May when you have to kind of show what y'all have done for the month. This would be good to kind of do. So you throw this chart in there and edit it. And you can just delete it if you don't need it. You can upload a logo if you have a logo. Like we don't have a logo for our we have a logo for our district, but we don't have a logo for our media center per se. You can upload a logo if you have one for your media center. Now, if you have a district one, you have to be careful about making sure that you have permission to kind of use that. Um, Especially if you're sending this out to parents on another website, you kind of need to make sure you have permission. So I would get that from central office if you're going to put the school logo up on there. But if you have your own logo, you can upload it. And these are all kind of new things that they've added. This is actually a new part. But this is just like anything else. You could put, and this is really cool. You could put a YouTube video in here. So if you make a video of your class, I doubt it's going to pull my stuff up, but if you make a video of your class, then, oh, yeah, it does. So if you make a video of you teaching your students something, oh, I accidentally put 2. Okay. So if you make a video of you, this is me teaching virtually, you can actually put that video in. And I think when you present it, you'll be able to watch. No, we hello, fourth grade students. This week we're going to be looking at the main idea of passages. So as y'all can see, it goes ahead and puts that in there, which is good because it deletes. It's good because it will let you watch that video without the ads. So that's pretty cool that it just pulled up. All those are my videos that I've done for my kids when we were on virtual. So it'll pull up your videos. So if you make a video and put it on your page, then you can pull that video in here and present it, which is cool because if you're taking a video of your kids doing something, like if they do a play or they're doing presentations or whatever, then you can video that, put it on YouTube and put it in here, which That's really cool for parents because you're showing them their kid actually doing a presentation in class, which is really cool because right now we have COVID and we can't have, I don't know about y'all's districts, but we can't have a lot of visitors at the moment. So it's cool that we have the opportunity to do that kind of thing by showing them. Oh, you also can put music in here. So if I drag that over here, it's just going to play the music, which is really cool. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but it's playing a song. So that's really cool. You can put that in there too. So this is everything that has to do with Valentine's Day that can be added in. Okay. So these are kind of the basics of Canva that you can use. I do want to show you like the Destiny Discover and like putting the books on. So let's look at that real quick. So in my district we have Destiny Discover and it shows you the titles. And it also does this. This is really cool. It does your recently added books. So let's say you wanted to feature some of these. Let's say I want to do this History Smashers one. So all you have to do is just like is right click on the picture and save the image. And then I usually put the title in so I know what it is. So okay. So then I can go back to my newsletter here and I'm gonna upload that. So I'm gonna go to uploads, that's this, upload the media, and then it's gonna pull that in. Takes a minute. Once it's in, you just have to pull it over here. Now be careful because you don't want it to cover your whole background. I kind of pull it down like that and then I resize. So that way you can pull that in. So you can put these on your students' page so they know, oh, these are the new books we got in the library, which I have down here. Those are some new ones that we put in the library for January. So y'all can kind of see what that looks like. So what you want to do before you start is you really want to think about what you want to include in a newsletter. I would make a list so you have kind of an idea of what you want to add. And you can start off small. You can do like we did with the first one where we just had the classroom template. You put stuff in, do the one page. But this communicates to all your stakeholders. This helps you meet your accomplished standard on letting all stakeholders know what's going on in your library. It makes you look good. It lets the community know what's going on in your media center. It lets your principals see what's going on in your media center and your teachers. Plus, you're providing teachers your resources, which is very difficult with the elementary schedule where we have 5 or 6 classes a day and we don't have time to meet with teachers or go to teachers' plannings. This is a way for you to give them resources to help them without uh, having to go in their spaces because you may not be able to go meet with them because of your special schedule or your encores or whatever you guys call it at your school. So this is a good way to communicate with everybody in your building and all your community members outside of your building, because anybody can look up your newsletter. So I hope that I explained this well and that it's helpful to you. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My Twitter handle is at LEHMANAC. So you can direct message me on there. I have an email address with NC Slamma that you can direct message me. So feel free to contact me if you're wanting more help with this, if you're having any issues with navigating Canva or setting up an account, or if you want some ideas on how to use this with students, just shoot me an email and let me know. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and that you find it helpful. Thank you for taking your time to watch this video. I know that we're all busy and we're all working really hard to assist our teachers, assist our kids, and make our buildings a wonderful place. I hope you have a great winter tune-up, and I look forward to meeting with my regions 5 and 6 on March 15th. Have a good afternoon.